Hello and welcome to Survive the Unexpected with your host Frank Pacino and my partner in crime, Amanda Bryan. And we're finally back after a long layoff because Amanda was kind of busy with her games. She made pretty deep runs.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did.
she had a really good chance of winning RMG. She got really close. She got fourth right before FTC. So we took a little break so she could focus on that. But now we're
Yeah.
getting back into swing of things.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not retired like Frank is per se. Forget it. I'm using my selfie camera. Sorry guys, I'm literally look like Snow White for the rest of the podcast, but oh well, forget it. So yeah, I did not expect to make it as far as I did in either of my games, just like Frank didn't expect to make it as far when he was, super heavy down in his. So I apologize for the long break. I think it's been forever since we've recorded. So I
yeah.
apologize for that, but I am taking a break with Frank. I'm not going to be retired, but I'm going to be taking a break.
Uh, but
I don't
please
plan on playing again until maybe August,
uh
maybe.
but please give us a like and subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page. That helps out a lot. Survive the Expected for both.
Mm-hmm.
um but today we are covering Big Brother 2 episodes 14 through 16. This is Hardy's second HOH reign, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
um and boy, is he something else.
Yeah. Dude, you see that dance he did going into his HOH room? He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
oh
singing to the cameras and stuff.
when he gets
He was
into,
stoked.
what do you say? Hello, soft rug or pushy rug. It's just like,
Hello,
oh,
plush rug. I
yeah, I
missed you,
miss
or
you.
something like that. Mhm.
He's
Which I
so
mean,
it.
I give him credit. Like everyone can gloat a little bit. You know what I mean? Like everyone deserves a gloat for their HOH, but it's just a little
This is
much.
my issue with Hardy. Okay, he's a little fake and he's arrogant, but he acts like he's not arrogant.
Yeah.
If he just owned his shit, I would like him more. But he's like, oh, I'm a good guy. I don't do those sort of
Because
things.
he
I don't
knows though, if he were to
lie.
be overly arrogant, people would take that as a threat, and his ass would be gone.
But he can do it to the cameras.
Yeah, that's true.
He's lying to America like we don't see him acting this way.
He's lying to the house because he don't want to get voted out.
But he goes into the diary
But
room and be
yes,
like, "Oh, I'm a good guy. I don't do these sort of things."
I mean, he does kind of push it a little bit when he starts bullying. And I'm not really bullying, but he's just kind of like, oh yeah, like like pretty much toying with Bunky's fate. Like he's just pushing him to like, oh, you might go home, you might not, I might have, put
Yeah,
you up, I might not, like that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah. It's Hardy is a hit or miss. He is a pretty good player. That's not my issue with him. He's not a bad player. I just wish he would own it. And if he owned it, I'd love him a lot more. Like Dr. Will literally is in the cameras telling him he's lying and doing this and laughing about it. If he was doing
Yeah.
something similar, like we would love it just as much because he's
Yeah,
dominating the
because
game
it
at
would
the
be
point.
he'd be dominating the game, but he would also be a relenting force against, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like against Will. I think that's part of the reason why I am having like a little bit of a hard time getting into the season, because Will has no competition. He has no competition this season. That he doesn't have a relenting force that's kind of like making him teeter on the edge of like being successful and not successful, and making him work for his spot. He's just
Well, I mean,
automatically in his spot because he's so charismatic. I wish
that's
that someone would rival him a little bit. Does that make sense?
I think Hardy and Nicole rival him pretty well.
Nicole's
Um,
in his pocket. What do you mean?
no, well, okay, like as the season goes on, more and more that's the case.
Yeah.
But the week Shannon left, Will was supposed to leave, but Shannon was the one who went crazy, so that way Will could stay. She did that on purpose so he could stay. If
Yeah.
that was if Shannon just wanted to stay, Will probably would have left that week. But by
Probably.
her going crazy, put Will to save himself, and then it was able for him to
Shannon
keep his.
going Shannon going crazy was easily the best thing for his game, hands
Oh,
down. Hands
easily the
down.
best.
And then he ever since he was gone, that was it.
Yeah.
Done. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Hardy. The problem with Hardy is he likes to play. I'm this good guy. I'm doing the honorable thing. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for somebody else to win. And then literally the next scene saying, "I got to do this if I want to win." So
Yeah.
he's such a hypocrite throughout the whole thing, and it's just And it'd be different if he was doing it as lying, as using a strategy, but he legit, like, will believe what he's saying at the time, and then literally says the opposite and believes that at the time. That's the way
Yeah.
I take it anyways. Um,
He gets caught up in the moment a lot. Like he gets caught up, like if people like confronting him or like trying to get information from him, and he's like, you can tell like the gears in his head are just turning. Like,
yeah,
oh my god, what do I say? Like, what did I say to this person? What do I have to keep track of right now? Like he's got himself spread pretty thin in a way. He's
yeah,
got a good. He's pretty loyal to his alliance in a way, but yeah, he
yeah.
doesn't know how to strategize in that way of like keeping himself covered.
So we'll get back. We'll start off with episode 14 right now. We kind of went on a tangent there, but we get through, like, Boogie's gone, the after effects and everything like that. Crystal's like, Boogie gave me butterflies and all this stuff, and it's just it is. I know how
Yeah,
much you love Boogie, so.
I don't like Boogie at all.
um,
I just don't listen. Either he had no business being on All Stars. I'm just gonna say it.
without him, we would not had
He had
a
no
great
business
All
being
Star
on All
season.
Stars, and he had no business winning All Stars. So we'll get to that later.
Whoa. Okay, that's a. Would you rather had Erica?
I'm listen. I think Erica. I mean, Erica's not the best, but she's definitely not the worst either. I don't think. No, she didn't deserve her place 100% on All Stars, but she is not a bad player either. There have been many worse
Mm,
players in the Big Brother community than Erica.
okay, but one of them is not Mike Boogie. Erica's a bad player. She didn't deserve to be on All Stars, and she was only there because it was beneficial to chill time. Well, anyways, let's get back to the season we're on. I'm not a big
I
Erica fan.
know.
But we get to.
Erica's you'll like Erica more on the rewatch.
I've watched it twice. I've enough.
Yeah.
I watched All Stars probably like 5 times. So we get to the boy band scene, and they look ridiculous. All of them do a boy band dance routine and
I
record
thought it
it.
was good. No, they don't know how to dance at all.
It
They all
is
need to
really
stick to their day
bad.
jobs. Yeah, they're terrible.
Um, Everyone did, but Kent, which I get. Well, it's Kent. But Monica was like, I learned it like 15 minutes before I did it. Good for her, but it's just.
Monica's a beat, dude. I love Monica this season. Like, I even with her, I mean, she does make me upset because I feel like she's a giver upper. You know what I mean? Like she's pretty much like, oh, I'm going home. That's it. You know what I mean? But she really isn't going home, or she's not. She always thinks she's in trouble, but she's not in trouble, and she gets like overly upset, and she doesn't need to. Does that make sense?
I think she thinks highly of herself more as a game player than she actually should. That's
Yeah,
her problem. Like Krista,
little bit too confident.
yeah, Krista's head and shoulders better player than Monica.
Oh yeah, 110%.
So
They're
like,
close. They're super
oh,
close. Like, yeah.
so it yeah. When we get to it, but yeah, that's Monica's issues, that she thinks she's this huge threat, when all reality, the reason why she's a threat is because she's paired with Krista. And
Yeah.
once you take Krista out, her
And
threat level.
Bunky.
And Bunky. And once you take Krista out, like, it takes away
Yeah.
a lot of her threat level. So, but we get a heartfelt goodbye message from Boogie to Krista. Or did it
She
hit
was
you in the
like literally
feels?
telling, no.
Yeah, do you not have a soul?
No, I guess not. Not for Boogie, I don't.
Oh,
I did like that Krista like teared up and stuff, and he said good things about her daughter. So like those are the things that I did appreciate. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Boogie.
yeah, he was
Not
nice, and I
attractive.
believe it was genuine of what he said.
I do too.
I don't think it was for the cameras, because um like, I think other stuff he does is for the cameras. I don't think that was for
Yeah.
the cameras.
No, I think that he's never met anyone like her.
Oh
That
yeah,
makes sense
yeah, because they're two
because
different
they're two
worlds.
completely different worlds. And so
Yeah,
like for him to meet someone like her and be a little bit more humble, I think helps.
yeah. So we get to, like you said, Hardy boasting about his win a little bit, and Bunky asking him what's up. I did not like how Bunky approached this. It came across as needy, and like kissed the ring to him a little bit.
Yeah. I agree with that.
forceful. He was just like, tell me what to do. You put up whoever, I'll vote for whoever. Da, da, da. It's just like, as a player, you should be like, look, this is why you should keep me and Kent around because that's what his goal should be. And you know what? If he says, you know what, if I gotta let go, Kent, I gotta let go of Kent, but he like
Yeah.
immediately throws Kent under the bus and just baffles my mind. Like, why would you do that? Because at this time, like Bunky is on everybody, he's like lower on everybody's alliance
Totem
level.
pole. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He doesn't have himself in a good solidified spot, and other than with Bunky and with Bunky or with Kent,
Yeah.
and then but that's the problem when you align with the house nuisance. Do you understand what I mean? Like, yes, it's a good target for yourself. And I think that's what Bunky was going for. He knew that Kent would always go home before himself, and that is correct, exactly what happened. But at the same time, aligning with the house nuisance is like it puts it it's for one, it's exhausting. We've all been, if you've played orgs, sure enough, you played a lot of orgs. Every once in a while, you have aligned with the tribe nuisance or the chat nuisance to where, they're literally just doing the most and you can't reel them back. And I feel like that's how Kent was with Bunky, is that Bunky was, you could not reel Kent back in a sense of like, you are being rude. You
I
are being
but
demanding. You need to dial it back a little bit to save not only your game, but my game too. So Bunky is not only trying to game for himself, but he's also trying to game for Kent as well. And I think that's a lot about where his mistakes were.
But to
He
be
just
fair,
couldn't do that.
Bunky did not do a lot for Kent's HOH ring. He should have been the one that was
No.
sitting down and be like, "Hey, this is what we should do. This is what we should do." Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and like chat it up and discuss things before you just let Kent do his own thing. Because you are at that point they're seen as a pair. So you need to make sure whatever he does this week doesn't come back to reflect on you. Because if he sat down and talked to Bunky and he's like, I'm gonna put Krista up and say this, he's like, no, just say you put me up, so I put you up, Krista. And then guess what?
Yeah.
The position Kent's in all stemmed from him saying what he said to Krista
When
this
he
week.
blew up yeah.
The way he talked to her when he nominated her.
Oh yeah, yeah, and talk
That
down
was
to her.
yeah, that was
And
the
you
first
can't do
step.
that to her. You can't do that to, for one, you can't do that to any of the women in this house. All the women
No.
in this house are strong women, and there's absolutely no, you can't bully them down. Now we have seen other seasons where women do get bullied down a little bit, but this is not one of those seasons where the women just are not like that. They're just
Mm,
not.
yeah. So we get to
Kent
the
also is a misogynistic man. That's not trying
that's true.
to down him, but that's just the fact of it. He's a very misogynistic man.
He grew
So
up in a
he's
different time as well. We have to give him
absolutely,
this is
absolutely.
2002, 2001. So this is 20 years ago. And
Mhm.
he was 40 something, something
Yeah.
like that.
He was in his 40s.
Yeah. So like when he was a teenager, 18, it was like in the 80, like the 70, 80. So like,
Yeah,
yeah, give him
exactly.
a like a little bit of like he grew up differently than everybody else at that point. And it shows. It definitely shows. But we get to the food competition. I love this food competition. Why don't they do this every season for food competition? Because it's so gross and it's so entertaining. And I'm just like,
Oh,
ugh. So basically they have to, so they put down their favorite meal, like sides, all this stuff, and then they go outside and then they find out that they have to not eat their favorite meal, they have to drink it, and it gets put all in a blender. They blend it up and they have to drink it. If they don't drink it or hold it down, they don't get food for the day. It's pretty
man.
gross.
I'm trying to think, like, what's your favorite meal? Like, can you even say? A lot of people don't even like know.
Mine, New York strip with some corn, with a roll and maybe some fries. Yeah, does not
You like
sound good.
chunks of fries. Oh, oh, oh. I'm
So
gonna go with probably the traditional American breakfast, and I don't know how good that would be, like bacon, eggs, and toast. And
I think the eggs would be gross.
I think the eggs would be like the least gross part because I can eat a runny egg. Like
I
that's not a
guess
big
so.
deal. But it's the bread, bro. The wet bread.
Yeah,
I'll
the
throw
fries for
up.
me would be gross.
I cannot. Or like, oh God. Anything with like someone got horseradish sauce, I think, on their meal.
You see
Just stop.
Krista's how thick it was?
Ew.
It was so thick. Krista's
That's
the only one
nasty.
that didn't do it.
Oh, I don't blame her.
Will downed his in like 10 seconds.
What did he have again?
He had some sushi or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He has some type of
But
seafood dish.
Nicole had about a meltdown. They're cheering her on, and she's like, "Please stop! Everyone, shut up!"
Oh my God. That's disgusting.
Cat had it rough though. He had the steak thing like I would have had, but he had the cream corn, and I'm like, oh, it's so thick.
I like cream corn. Do you like cream corn?
Mm,
What?
no,
Yes, it's so good.
so
What's that food that you like but everyone hates?
well, I don't think I have one.
Really?
I don't know if I
Dude, you
have
know what I
one.
love? It's so good.
What?
Especially in the summertime, like right now. Cold, like see, they gotta be like super, super cold. It's beets. You like
Oh,
beets?
no,
Beets are
that's so
so
gross.
oh my God, no, beets are so good, especially in the summertime. They have to be like super cold. Yes, delicious.
Ugh, no, thank you. It's giving the heebie-jeebies now. So we get it's entertaining. I would love them to
Good.
do this every year. They've never done this challenge ever again, which is baffles my mind. But yeah,
Like
like I
it's
said,
disgusting.
and then of course Hardy's big ego self goes, I'm not gonna ask you guys to do anything I wouldn't do, so I'm gonna do it for you guys too, with you guys too. And it's just like, oh, shut up. I would just say like, yeah, you guys better do it. And, or he was like, and before he said he pretty much gave everybody a threat. Was like, you know how I like my food, so if you guys better, my nomination isn't set. So if you guys don't do this, then might weigh into what I'm doing. So Krista doesn't do it, and so Kent had something to say about it, like you know. Hardy's acting like it's his fault. He's apologizing to Krista, and he's like, "I think me and Bunky are going up."
Dude, that's why like Hardy frustrates me so much because he's such a freaking bad game player. Like he's so terrible. Like he's such a terrible game player. Remember that one week when he was like, I don't want a game at all. No one
Yeah.
talked to me. No one tell me
That was
anything.
last week. That was last week. And Kent's
Yeah.
HOH, yeah. And then Kent
Had a
threatened him.
freaking meltdown.
Yeah, it's just we get to Kent running out of cigarettes. We had this big scene about him running out of cigarettes and he's gonna try to quit. He literally had this tinfoil hat that people stole his cigarettes out of the dry storage. And then he was mad that he didn't get any cigarettes on his HOA train. He was bartering monkey for some power
I
bar.
feel bad for them though, because like they have nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like they literally have nothing to do. So like I guess smoking cigarettes does help pass the time, but even still, like that's yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
rough.
I don't smoke, so good riddance, I guess.
I don't smoke cigarettes, no.
So
Absolutely not.
gross.
Yeah.
So Bunky is going in confessional saying that he wants to try to distance himself from Kent because he thinks Kent is a sinking ship. Again, I think Bunky was on that ship and allowed it to get to that point where it's at, but
I think
he's
part of it too is that he's just such a good natured person to where he like, he knows that Kent is on the outside and he's not gonna let that, poor man feel lonely. Do you know what I mean? Like I think
yeah,
that's part of it for sure. At least I would think so.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Bunky confronts Kent or not Kent, Hardy about is he targeting him? And he's like, do you find me a threat? And he looked in his face and said, no, I don't find you a threat, Bunky. And he's like, do you find me a threat? And Bunky's like, yeah, I do.
Again, terrible gameplay.
You don't tell the HOH you find him threatening
No.
before nomination. uh,
Dude reminds me of me and Carl's alliance and Broski. He asked me, he was like, do you see me as a threat? And I was like, of course, you're a great player. And he got mad at me for it. He was our number one. And he was like mad at me because I said that. He was like, that makes me worry. I'm like, why? I was like, what do you want me to do? Call you a bad game player? You think that would be nicer?
I'm never a threat,
Sorry,
guys.
Carl. Love you, Carl.
Uh,
He was
so
such a fun alliance member.
he was definitely fun to watch in the his
Oh, he was
confessionals.
fan favorite.
Yeah, he did some crazy confessionals.
Oh, his confessionals were hilarious.
We so Will teases Nicole about falling in love with him, and says that he's like it's okay, and she's like, so you're falling in love with me too, and he's like no, you're falling in love with me, I'm not falling in love with you. He's like, so what am I to you? He's like, oh, there's an attraction to you. And she's like, so I'm just a bangy, and he's like, yeah, kind of, not really, but he's like,
He's so blatantly horrible to her, and she just does not fucking get it. She
she's
literally does not get it at all. You know what I mean? Like,
and then he goes, he's like, she's like, so why don't you fall in love with me? He's like, well, I have a serious girlfriend. She's like, well, I have a serious husband. He's like, yeah, but that didn't happen in the Big Brother house
oh my god.
where
Dude, Will's
relationships
TV
are
gold,
real.
man.
Where
Yeah,
relationships are
relationships are
real.
real. At least a couple years real.
But then he's in the shower and she's like, all right, let's do this. And so come. And if I was her husband, I'd be pretty mad because he took our pants off. And then you could see she's in a thong. And then she's like gets in the shower with him, like for like, I mean, it's like 10 seconds, but like he's naked in the
I
shower.
know. Yeah, I wouldn't
Like,
be too happy about that.
yeah, and like you're on TV. Like I don't know if you know this, but more happens, I think, in like a week or two, that like a banner flies over and then like she almost quits the game because of it.
I didn't realize that something else that happens not until final 3, but I didn't realize that didn't happen until final 3.
I think it was 5. I thought it was 5 because Bunky and
I think
Monica were there.
it was Bunky there too?
I believe so. I can't
Okay.
remember off the top of my head, but
We
yeah,
can double check.
I was a little mess. I was just like, man, that's crazy. Just falls right into it. And he's just like, yeah, you're falling in love with me. I get it.
So cocky and arrogant. Have you ever met someone like that? I've definitely met men like that.
No, I've never met
Vomit.
anybody like that.
Vomit. So overly cocky, it's ridiculous.
No, yeah, there's people that I've met that are pretty overly cocky. But we get to the nomination ceremony and it's Will and Kent nominated.
Mhm.
Hardy cries, fake. Well, I think he just cries for the cameras and for sympathy, and it's just
He's
like,
such a
bro,
bitch.
yeah. I'm glad you said it. So, I
Dude, I
respect you
listen,
so
I
much.
120% understand why Hardy was never invited back. Or if he was invited back, like I'm glad that he didn't accept because I think that he's dead boring.
I think I would like to see him play again.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. He's somebody on the short list that like I wouldn't have been mad if he was on All
I'd rather see
Stars.
Kristen play again than him.
Who? Krista?
Krista, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't mind seeing Hardy, Krista, Nicole, either of those three play again. Even Monica and Bunky. I wouldn't mind.
Oh yeah.
But I prefer those three.
Bunky did play again, didn't he?
No, he
No,
tried to get on
Bunky's
All
not. That's
Stars.
right. He tried to get on All Stars.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you surprised that he didn't nominate Kent and Bunky?
Yes and no. I think that Bunky's likable enough to where he can kind of weasel his way out of that. He may be on the bottom, but he's still a likable person. And I think when you're in that house with, so few people left and so much free time, you really don't want to be stuck with people that you don't want to be around. So I think that Bunky had a shot, if only just for that.
I think the reason why he did that is because he wanted to keep Will's and his relationship, but like on the DL.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Will, him, and Monica not Monica, Nicole have like a pact.
Well,
so,
and Will's in with a lot of people right now.
He's in with everybody almost.
Yeah, almost everyone.
But that ends episode 14. We end it with fake crocodile tears from Hardy, and we get to the episode 15, and it starts off with
a big episode.
Bunky is a little surprised he didn't get nominated, but I think there's some merit to not him being nominated. And
there is too.
If Bunky wins a trophy, like, I didn't nominate you, Bunky. So we'll see. Maybe that's something like that, but
We
he
will
go
see.
he goes on a little tangent about how he thought for sure he was gonna be nominated and all this jazz. I do love the keys.
Love the keys.
Yeah, I want the keys
Yeah.
to come back.
Dude, that is one thing I do miss about old Big Brother is the keys when because like the order used to play a big factor in part like that it's been the talk of a couple of times of Big Brother the order of
I
the
think it
keys.
ends at 16. I think that's where it ends. I think 15 is the last season that has the keys.
I
Um,
think you're right. I think you're right.
but Bunky,
I remember Frankie having a picture on the wall, like remember like the pictures they would reveal.
yeah, I believe they
I
did
think
it
they
because
started
of the
that.
Battle of the Block twist. I think that's why
Yeah.
they just did the pictures. But Bunky is going around asking Nicole and Hardy, "How do you want me to vote? How do you want me to vote? Just tell me how to vote." And Hardy's like, just go with your conscience." And then he goes to Nicole, and she says the exact same thing. So she's like, "Hmm." He's like, "I wonder if they've been having conversations behind my back because they said the
Oh,
exact
the
same
exact
thing."
same words. Which hey, props to him for figuring that out.
Yeah,
Props to him for noticing that because it is a very particular word that you just wouldn't hear very often in conversation.
yeah. And it's just like, yeah, maybe you guys discussed the vote, but the way he acted about it, it's just there's ways to ask without like crawling to ask, and I felt like he crawled to ask, and it was just like,
That's
nah,
kind of Bunky's style a little bit. He's not a headhunter. He's
yeah,
not in charge of in charge of the force going forward.
yeah. And then
It's not him.
we get to Nicole talking to Kent saying she threw the competition because she didn't want to have to nominate Kent. And I don't think that was the right move to say to him at the time. I just thought it was a bad move because it was just like it's just like he's gonna tell everybody that because Kent's a big mouth and it doesn't
Yeah.
benefit you at all. You tell the cameras and you tell the people at home and you tell them and then when they see it when they get home, but you don't tell him when he's probably gonna go home this week.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make much
He's
sense.
I don't think they thought that through
Yeah.
at the best of their ability. I think there's so much emotion this season too. Like there's so much, you know what I mean? Like everyone's on high. I mean, look at Monica just alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how crazy that she got just from someone talking game as soon as they woke up.
Yeah, it's
You know what
ridiculous.
I mean? Like I know we'll get to that later, but it's just like just the different things like that. That's just like, it's
Right.
everyone's on high with their stuff right now.
hmm so we get to a luxury competition and it's guys versus girls. And I isn't it weird? Like some of them were like mannequins, but then other ones were like blow up dolls and
Yeah.
it was like
That challenge was weird. I mean, I like we've seen challenges like this almost every single season of Big Brother. You know what I mean? The hide and seek comp is very, very noteworthy in Big Brother. But yeah, they were creepy.
yeah, some of 'em, like I don't understand why don't you just get all mannequins? Why are some of them blow up dolls? Why is some of them like CPR dolls? And why is one like some of 'em mannequins? They're
Low
all different.
budget.
They're
Low
all
budget, I'll tell you right
different.
now.
They're all different. Basically they decorated their whatever they were and they got hidden and they had to be blindfolded and they tried to come back with a doll and you're blindfolded and the winner gets $100 to spend on whatever luxury they want.
Do you think Will did that bad? Like, do you think that he did that bad on purpose? Because I think he said he wanted to win this comp, right?
Yeah, he said
Dude,
one,
it's
but
terrible.
then he gets in and he's like, yeah, in all reality, it doesn't matter. I don't think he cares.
Literally me every comp. Like I'm so freaking terrible at comps.
Yeah, I don't. I think he would have been happy to win, but I don't think he really. If he didn't win, really not a big deal. But the girls win. Monica gets cigarettes. Krista
Cigarettes.
gets flowers to the boogie. That's a lot of flowers. $100
I
worth of
just feel,
flowers.
yeah, $100 with flowers is quite a bit. Well, I don't know. Flowers are expensive, bro.
He,
Flowers are super expensive.
I buy flowers. I know what they cost now. This is 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Hundred
that's
hundred
true. hundred
dollars
dollars with flowers. Yeah, I
back
guess that's
then,
true.
probably
It was
way
a lot.
cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what did Nicole get? She got flowers too for her husband, right?
Yeah.
And so
Pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Krista's card to Boogie was funny. He's like, I'm thinking about you, missing you. He's like, oh yeah, P.S. Send Shannon some flowers. Will lost.
Dead.
That made me laugh. Oh man.
Do you feel like the Shannon and Will romance is more genuine, or the Krista and Boogie relationship?
Well, which one lasted longer?
Well, I know that, but like as the show's predicting it right now, like what do
Oh,
you
they're
think?
predicting that Boogie and Krista's relationship is real,
Yes.
but it's the opposite that ends up happening.
You know that Boogie fucked it all up.
Yeah, probably. He probably cheated on her
Probably.
or something.
Something stupid.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't have the energy to look into what happened to them.
Okay, so
But
you know what happens next, right?
oh
Ophelia.
yeah.
Ophelia the piggy. The
uh
guy pig.
oh, when Monica was talking about it, I was like, I don't want no goddamn pet. I don't like
She
pets,
said,
you
no,
guys.
I don't want pets in this. She said she
Was
don't think animals belong in the house. She
Yeah,
said.
and when they're talking about the pets, and Chris is like, "What if it's a horse?"
Oh, did you hear me say pets? Oh,
But yeah, they thought for sure it was gonna be a dog or a cat, and it ended up being a pot-belly pig.
oh, and it was so
Ophelia.
cute. Not
Oh,
you.
the
You're cute
squealing would have
too.
got on my
Yeah,
nerves.
go.
I couldn't handle this.
Oh, listen, when Will was like, if I feel a cold nose in the back, it's over. I died. I died.
Um, what my favorite line was when Will was in a confessional. He's like, when we seen the pig, I was like, he's like, I thought about like, what, how am I gonna be able to handle the smell, the hairy, the loud. You know what? If I could deal with Bunky and Cat, the pig can deal with Bunky and Cat. So we just get a montage of the pig and them trying to take care of it, and Hardy ends up like,
High training it, all the good
yeah, it's
stuff.
just we get a little montage of them dealing with the pig. Um, I guess Camp really takes a liking to him, so that's cool.
I think the pig's cute. I think I'm surprised they don't do pets more in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, I think this is the only season they've done it.
No, they had. Did they have some during Big Brother 8? Maybe during the Alice in Wonderland season? Do they have like a rabbit or
Yeah,
maybe
but
not?
I don't think they've gotten like an animal like that. Like it's not in a cage. Like they've had like
Right,
spiders and stuff like that, but like
right,
they've never
right,
had like something that like a dog or something to take care
right, right.
of. So we get to Monica and Nicole playing backgammon. It's in the
Mhm.
daytime. I don't know what time of the day. But they're out there just talking shit to each other, playing a game.
Mhm.
And Bunky comes out there and says, "You guys need to be quiet down. Da, da, da. I'm trying to sleep." And the girls get pissed. Where do you land on the whole argument? You land on Monica and Nicole's side
Um,
or Bunky's?
I think I kind of lean on more Monica because they're outside. And I feel like when you're outside, you can use an outside voice. And if it's the middle of the day and you're napping, that's kind of on you. Does that make any sense?
I am totally agree with you. It's not
Yeah.
like it's middle of the night. It's not like 2 a.m. or something outside
Right.
screaming. And it's
Right.
during the day. It's sunny out. So
Hmm.
it's not like it's super early. Like if it is, it's early as like 8, 9 o'clock.
I don't think that he should have gotten as up in arms about it as what he did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you should have just went outside. And Monica was right. It's all about your deliverance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you go outside, you're gonna be like, hey, like you're being really loud. That's really rude of
Or
you. Like you need
like
to be considerate of other people. Like blah blah blah. And she was like, I'm literally outside. Like
and all he had to do was like, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep. I'm like right there. Is there any way you guys can be just like a little bit quieter so I can take a nap?
yeah.
Please and thank you."
And
That's
they
it.
would have.
And they
And
would
they
have
would have.
the way,
100% would have.
yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "You guys need to be quiet." I went off on him like, "That's not how you handle, especially Nicole and Monica, bro. That's not how you handle them."
I know.
But yeah, but this just it was quick and sweet. can't ask Nicole like, "Hey, are you gonna keep me last remaining member of Chilltown as Will? We're gonna get rid of him." Da da da, all this stuff, and he just is like, "Oh no, oh no." She's like, "I don't
When
know."
you're the last member of Alliance left, because I've been in this situation multiple times. When you're the last one left, you're in such a disadvantage but advantage position at the same time, because you can either give up and die, or you can try to find the one crack or the bottom member of that alliance that is going to be going next and try to do something. It's very hard to do when you are in that position, I feel like. What
Mhm.
do you think? Have you ever been in that position before, where it's like there's another alliance that's more powerful than you, and you're on the outs, like outs, where you're going to be going home, but
I've been in that, I
you
think,
can
situation
fit in.
one time. I don't get in that situation a lot because I'm usually one of the first people taken out from my main alliance.
See, I'm one of the ones that stick around
Yeah, I'm usually the
usually.
one who doesn't stick around. I
Yeah,
usually targeted first or second. So,
yeah,
but I've had it one time, but I feel like it's an opportunity in the right player's hands. It's a perfect opportunity to make something happen because guess what? Somebody's always fourth and fifth.
yeah.
Somebody always is there. People are going to want to make that move first and not last.
I
Because
agree.
because if Hardy takes out Will now and Kent wins HOH next week, he's gonna go after Hardy.
That's what would have to happen if he
So
was smart, but who
so
knows?
so like why would Hardy wait for the opponent to make like take out Will, which like it does more wonders for Kent and Bunky than Hardy at the
Then
time.
Hardy the time.
Because Will's willing to betray everybody, but he is under the assumption that Will's on his side, and he is
Will is
from
better
his
at making connections and being sorry versus not.
in the right circumstances. I think you can play it well, which Will does, and that's why he sticks around, and that's why Kent goes home. So it's just
Another unanimous vote.
well, we haven't got there yet, but yeah.
You said Kent goes home, so
Yeah. But yeah, it's on if you get the right player at that position, they could be really dangerous
I agree.
because there's always two sides to every alliance. There's never just one. There's very rarely alliance of three dominates or four. It's usually
For the four is like the first thing I could think of.
like most of the time there's a big alliance and then there's a smaller alliance within the alliance. There's never besides token chains, there's not like a small group of three that dominate the season. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like it just doesn't happen like that. So
It's
there's
hard for it
always
to happen like that.
there's always alliances within the alliance usually.
Right.
So we get another segment of animals. Will with the bird. I think feeding the bird a lot. And
Will
my
wants a pet so bad.
well he he just I think he's just bored.
Yeah.
We
Super
get
bored.
we get more piggy training, potty training, and him sleeping in the bed with Hardy. There's no way that thing's sleeping in bed with me.
No, it would be so loud. That'd be my
Yeah,
thing. It's like I wouldn't care because like my animals sleep with me in bed, but they'd be so loud or like the
like
snoring
Will,
and stuff. I cannot.
like Will said, like if I get that cold nose on my back, bro.
It's over. Nope.
But yeah, it's just a quick little
I
montage.
already sleep like a pig.
We get the next morning. Kent is talking to Will about Hardy, and Nicole overhears, and Nicole gets irritated about it, which I don't understand why, for one.
Because she's not involved.
And then she goes and complains to Monica, and she gets mad about it. But like, Monica, just go back to sleep. Why are you angry?
Because Monica's tired of it, but that's just an example of her cracking. Like
Mhm.
she's doesn't feel like she belongs in the house. She doesn't think she's gonna win, so she feels like she's wasting her time.
And she
And
just
that was,
yells at
yeah,
everybody.
she does. She screams. She goes off on everyone.
She yells
I
at
think
Kent
that
and
was a
Bucky the
really
most.
poor moment to make that her first moment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because she has been such a good
Hmm.
player up to this point. And I
I don't,
think that they could have gone a little bit more strategic with her in the sense before they just showed her
well,
being popped off.
they showed her in the Untouchables earlier, and they had she had the
That was
moment.
forever ago,
Yeah,
though.
and she had the moment with the music. So she had
Yeah.
other moments throughout the season. Just this one just stands out the most because the way it goes off.
Yeah.
She literally yells for like probably like half an hour in the real time,
Mhm.
but like in the show it's like 10 minutes long. And
Right.
so we only get snippets of it. So it's at least 30, 40 minutes longer her yelling. And Kent's basically saying, you guys aren't even talking to me, da da da, which is partially true. And he's like saying things about
Because he
how
said he
you
wanted to go
and
home.
then
That's
saying the
my
same.
thing too. Is like it's your own fault. You said you wanted to go.
But he's like all these freaks and liars, and he gets so angry.
So
But they are doing the same thing to Bunky, which
Mhm.
isn't fair. I agree. It's like there's
It's
like
not fair. I
so
mean, we see it happen before. We've seen this happen many
yeah
times. Every brother would be lump people together and treat them, accordingly, depending on who they're aligned with. Remember Scotty and Rockstar and how
yeah.
that all went. And
But yeah, she
Rachel
just
and
goes
Brendan.
off.
We've seen many duos get screwed because one of the duos is unlikable. If that makes any sense at all.
Hmm. But yeah, basically that's what it is Micah yelling. But they are doing to Bunky, and Bunky's like, "Oh, I never said that. Bunky, just own up, be a man, stop being a little
Yeah,
bitch. You just said
stop.
that shit." So, but yeah, that we get Bunky and Kent talking about how Hardy's the one that needs to go because he's the one who's running everything, which is true.
It is true.
But just don't know how they can do it. Uh, it's just like he broke off from top and made this alliance of four. But the thing is, Bunky and Kent didn't realize that they were always at the bottom of that top alliance.
I know, and I don't understand how they didn't. I don't
Yeah.
understand how they didn't. You know what I mean? Especially when
Yes.
I think that they rely a little bit too much on Krista being in the middle of the two. Do you understand what I mean? So they figured that she would be a target before themselves, and I think that was a mistake.
Yeah. They always thought Krista wasn't in top, which she probably wasn't, but she was
Yeah.
always closer to Monica and Hardy than Kent and Bunky. And Nicole was
Yes.
always closer to Hardy. So Hardy's the centerpiece. They never realized that they were always at the bottom of that alliance. Which
And they
Kent,
covered that a little bit. They
yes,
were covering, how they
yeah,
said, like, Bunky just feels like he's a little bit too strong here.
yeah. So
And
what they
is
should
more.
do, they should have did the week Kent won HOH. They should have took a shot and said, "Hey, realize we're at the bottom. Will and Boogie, come here. Let's take out Hardy," which Will
Yeah.
and Boogie would have loved, and they would have been totally down for.
Yeah.
And so put Hardy against, I don't know, Nicole, or Hardy against Monica, you know, something like that.
Some
Um,
let that, yeah, a volcano erupt.
because then Bunky would have voted Hardy out. Will and
Mhm.
Boogie would have voted Hardy out, and I think that wasn't enough, right?
Yeah, I think that would have been enough at that point.
So it's
They
just
could have done it. They just didn't do it.
yeah, they got when you're at the bottom of the alliance, you have to make the move first,
Yeah.
and they didn't, and that's the reality. But yeah, this is that's it. We get another house meet. I love the house meetings that it's like mandatory.
Me too.
That
When
should be
everyone
every
has to
season
sit.
thing. Oh,
Yeah. It is almost every season.
that needs to be every season thing. It's not
Yeah.
anymore. They need to have
Mm-mm.
this every week because it's always fun. And
People
can't pretty
going
much,
off, yelling. Oh God, this was like Kent's shining yelling moment.
but he wasn't wrong. He literally called out Hardy and said, "Who's your number two, Hardy? You promising everybody. Who are you taking?"
He didn't answer.
He didn't answer. He's like, "Oh, I'm
He's
playing
like,
for
I know
other
I'm not
people to
going to win
win."
this game. Yeah, I'm not going to win this game. I'm playing for other people to win. Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Come
Dumbest thing
on,
I've ever heard. And then
dude. Come on.
he's such a hypocrite because like literally like the episode prior, he talks about him winning the game. And when he was making the nominations, like
And how happy he was at winning HOH. Like,
yeah, like yeah, yeah, it's just he's such a little hypocrite throughout the whole thing. And
Right.
it's ridiculous. Oh, that's where you're wrong. I'm playing for other people to win. No, Hardy, you're playing the entire time for yourself.
Exactly. And when it doesn't work out for you, it's easy for you to put that scapegoat on
So,
just saying you're not playing.
but yeah, Kent calls out Hardy and saying that he went with Nicole, Monica, and Krista, which he did. That's pretty much
Yeah.
what he did. But he was really with Krista and Monica from the beginning. So like really he didn't really go anywhere. And then he scooped up Nicole. Like Kent was always fifth or sixth.
Oh yeah,
He was
absolutely. He'd have been
always fifth or
great
sixth.
to
He is,
keep in because you knew that he wasn't going to win
yeah.
or even remotely do well in comps unless it was maybe a mental comp where he would have a chance. You know what I mean?
But he never realized he was always fifth or sixth. He thought he was like third or fourth when we all he was always fifth and sixth. But yeah, they go off and Will's just like was like, man, I don't like Kent, but he's spot on. So that ends, and then Hardy yells at him, and he's like, Kent was like, I don't have to listen to you. It's a big screaming match. It's
Big
pretty.
giant scream match too, but I love that. I love it. I love that Bucky and I'm not Bucky. I love that Kent and Hardy get into it and literally like Monica is sitting there speechless, which I could not believe. Like I could not believe that. Like they even brought Monica's name up into it, and she still sat there and didn't say anything.
Say
And
anything.
and I could not believe that she did that
Nicole didn't
because
say anything either,
no,
and Kent pretty much said, hey, he laid it out. He said, look, if you keep me around, Monica and Nicole, and vote out Will, you, me, and Bunky will face Krista in the HOH. One of us four wins. We put up Krista and Hardy. Hardy goes home. He can't compete in the HOH, which is true. There's no veto. So you save me. We take out Hardy next week, and then you can take me out. He said, and that's so much sense to everybody except for Nicole.
yeah.
And it makes so much sense for Monica. Monica should be like, yes, I need to do this. But she doesn't realize that Hardy's such a little snake and doesn't trust her. And
Well,
so,
not only that, but that's before really the evolution of gameplay really has played out yet. So people are still, more worried about their image and like how that is going
yeah.
versus, or who they like or not really thinking about the game. I think Will's the only one who's really, and then maybe Krista a little bit is thinking about the
And
game
Nicole
and
is too.
Nicole. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that ends episode 15 with a big scream match, which was great. And a lot of
It's fantastic.
fantastic. Oh, everything I laid out on the table. We get to
I'm going to
episode.
get a drink
Okay.
and take medicine because I'm
Okay.
fucking dying.
I'll say. So we get to episode 16, and Will uses all the information Kent spills and just starts spinning everything in his way to Nicole, to Krista, to anybody who will listen. And it's fantastic to watch. The way Will works these first like 20 minutes of the episode, 15 minutes of the episode is just so excellent.
It is masterful in the way that he can just win people over and manipulate people in such an easy and believable and charismatic way.
Krista Lily tells Will about the Untouchables thing and said, don't worry, you and me to the end. And Will's like, 100%, you me to the end. I'll tell you everything. Then he immediately goes to Nicole and says, hey, Krista just told me about the Untouchables with her, Hardy, and Monica.
Which was
like
a
since
genius
day
thing for him to
3.
do.
Such a genius thing because he wants a wedge between him and her and Hardy. Now it threw Krista under the bus, which I don't think he tended to do per se. With Nicole, I think he really wanted Hardy to go. That's what he tried to do. And then he also made up a lie, which is so good. He said, look, he said, when her, Monica, and Hardy are at the table, they flip up a card, and whatever card they flip up is who they're voting out for the week, so they can talk about what they're gonna do. And
did you see the look on her face whenever he told her that? She was literally like sitting there trying to think back of all the times that she saw them playing cards, was trying to think about how many times they flipped certain cards over and everything. She was literally trying to manage it through her own head. Like,
and then he goes into in the confessional and says, it's pretty good, huh?
How does America not like him?
I don't understand.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
And then he goes to Hardy and tells And then Krista tells Will's like, if you win HOH, what if you take out Hardy? And he's like, I could, yeah, I don't mind doing that at all.
That's exactly what he
He
wants to
goes to
do.
Hardy and it's like, Krista wants to vote you out, bro. Da da da, and all this. Like he,
He's literally playing the perfect game in that way.
he literally just throwing people under the bus left and right for
Mhm.
like 15-20 minutes. It's so entertaining to watch. And it's just like he literally, like, I know it's not like legit, but like the scenes were edited perfectly. Like he gets the information, edits to him and Nicole talking. He gets them to talking to Nicole. He goes back to Krista, gets more information from her, edits to him and Hardy talking, telling her exactly what Krista just told him. It's just masterful to see. Um, it's great to see, and it's just one of the things that you love about Dr. Will. So we get
He's very masterful, and it's crazy how he can do it to different types of people, mostly women. But I mean, he does it with Bunky, he does it with Hardy. You know, he did it with Boogie. You know, I think the only person he didn't have hook, line, and sinker 100% was probably Kent.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little interview with Hardy's girlfriend back at home about how she was a little uncomfortable with some things that happened, but she trusts him and all this stuff. And it's pretty
I think
boring.
Hardy's been pretty faithful.
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it is
like you said,
boring.
he's a boring character.
Yeah,
So
he
his
is
girlfriend
boring.
is even more boring than him. More
Mm-hmm.
boring. So
Super boring.
very stale. She definitely had no camera presence. So that was pretty boring. We get Will's and Kent's uh descent to where they got to this point. Week 1, confessional of people about what they thought, and week 2, week 3, week 4.
I like when they do this. They should do this more.
Yeah, I
A
don't.
good
This
without
is
just don't give us the recap episode. You know what I mean? Like, just don't give us the recap episode and do
this.
this every once in a while. Like, let's look at this progression from here to here, this progression
Yeah,
from here to here. I think it's a good way to break it up and review at the
yeah.
same time.
Legit, you
Mm-hmm.
see where how Will and Kent both started shitty. Kent gets better by week 2. People love Kent week 2. People despise Will week 2. Week
Yeah,
3, somewhat the same. Kent's get a little bit annoying, but they still dislike Will.
exactly.
Week 4, I can't. Daddy's getting on my nerves. Da da da. Will, he's such a nice guy. I like him so much. It
They're like, I really had
flips.
the wrong impression of him. No,
Yeah.
you don't.
No,
No,
you
you don't. You
don't.
just don't understand what's going on. You're just that daft to it.
Yeah, it's great storytelling by the
Mm-hmm.
producers. I don't think we ever see something like this very, like, if we do, it's not very often. So like
We
this,
don't see a character building like this as often in Big Brother as we do Survivor.
yeah. The days are too long. That's why there's too many long
Yeah,
days and they fill it with stupid content.
fluff.
We need less days. And I hope this season, I don't think we get the day count, but I'm hoping it's like a 60 to 70 day season. That'd be perfect.
Oh god, it's so long.
Hey, that's long, but that's short for Big Brother.
Yeah,
It's not 100
that's
days.
true. Yeah,
So, but yeah, it's a great storytelling. It gives everybody a recap to see how
I
each
can't
player
wait.
is at where they're at, and I loved it. And it was just funny to see the progression of the same people saying totally different things about these people.
Agreed.
Excuse me. We get the questions about the vote. How are you gonna vote? Da, da, da. Do you like the live votes or do you like the votes earlier?
I like live votes
You like
more.
the live votes more?
I like when they go in the confessional room and they say, okay, what's your vote? And they say the vote versus like the confessional votes. I don't like the confessional votes as much as I do the diary room votes. Is
Well,
that what you're talking about? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so you know how, like, come in and vote, and we have to sit there and wait. I vote to evict so and so, and then they run back out. I like just to get it over with because that shit lasts forever, especially when the cast is
It's
16
16
and you
people.
have
Yeah.
13 people voting. It's like, do we really need to see every single person say I vote to
Yeah,
evict Brian?
if you were to ask me, I would probably prefer to just not see them voting live. But if they're going to do it either that way or the way they do it now, where they just do it through like every like 3 people will do like, okay, like they'll just like a little speech of like what their game is, like, okay, I'm voting for this person. I don't like that way either.
Yeah.
So I would just prefer for them not to say and then reveal the vote count in the end. It would
Mhm.
save a good, 5-10 minutes of footage from just that. Um,
But I feel
Big
like
Brother is, I mean,
this is
I'm glad they have 3 episodes a week, but man, they try to push so much content sometimes in an episode, or sometimes they don't even have enough content to do an episode. It's very,
this is
it's either hit and miss.
they need to cut the twist out in Big Brother and
Yeah.
cut the days. The best seasons are the ones with the least amount of twists. Big Brother
Mm-hmm.
7 All Stars, great season. Not a ton of twists. There's a few, not a ton.
BB10.
BB10, zero. There's like one twist, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
the entire season, that's all it is.
BB
BB,
Twist, the coaches were this twist, but that was pretty much it.
yeah, and they came back into the game. But like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like we don't need all these twists. The best seasons are some of the basic ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get people talking about how Will's turned himself around. It's funny because it really he's still the same person. It's just
He's literally just doing them one up.
yeah, we get Hardy's HOH interview, and he is Julie grills him about who do you trust the most. Like he was like didn't want to say. And he's like Nicole and
Even to
Krista.
Julie.
Yeah, it's like why, bro? Just say it. Um, it's just yeah, it is what it is. But that's pretty much all we got from the interview. So it was tough. I feel bad.
When
I
we
like
see these
him.
every week, like me and Frank see these every single time we rewatch these, like the HOH interviews can start to blend together a little bit. And
Honestly, they're just not like how often do you get a really good one?
not very often. Depends on
Not
who's the HOH,
no,
honestly.
it's not a lot, right?
Yeah.
Um, but after that, Kent knows he's going home. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it's
I'm
the
glad that Kent went because I think he's not the best human being, but him being in the game later on would have been super interesting.
mhm.
I think that he would have stuck with Bunky, but I mean, I think that Kent would have still ruffled feathers throughout the house if he would have stayed a couple more, vote
Yeah.
outs.
But his
Mm-hmm.
pitch to Nicole and Monica wasn't bad. He actually did a
No,
really good job at trying to save himself with game strategic logic.
right.
Which was very impressive by him because what he was saying was 100% accurate. Look, if we vote out Will now, us four could team together. We take
Yep.
Hardy out next week. You can take me out the week after that. Then it's you, Krista, Monica, Nicole, and Bunky.
Yeah.
But Nicole knows that's a losing situation for her.
For
She
her, it
probably,
is.
yeah, Nicole loses all against all three of them, probably
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
people just don't not a big fan of her. So that's why it wasn't a great move for Nicole. It was a good move for Monica. Monica
It's
should
such
at
an
least consider it.
interesting end there. Like it's such an interesting after Kent goes, the dynamic of who's left and how many cross weave situations there are. It's not a, I mean, it is a clear cut alliance cut, but at the same time, it's not because people, when this back in Big Brother 2 days, before really gameplay became the main strategy of these type of games, people took personal relationships in way, way heavy,
Mhm.
and I think that plays an interweaving cross along with the alliance part of it. They're still trying to figure it out. And
Yeah.
they're doing a good job. Like they're doing an entertaining job. And this season does not have any twists really at
No.
all.
No.
So and we get good TV. So
Yeah. Ken gets voted out 4-0. Are you surprised that Bunky didn't vote for him?
no, I think Bucky made the right move there
I
because he.
I don't think he made the right move.
Oh, I do because I'll tell you why. Because he knows that he's on the bottom right now and he left himself open for each side to pull him in even farther. So by voting with the house, it doesn't leave him in an island spot to the point where he's on his own by himself, but he voted with the house where it shows where he is a team player and he's going to be willing to work with somebody. And I think it was an opportunity to say like, hey, now I'm ready to be picked up.
But I think it was a bad move because uh it shows that like that was his number one. Everybody knew they were a duo, right? And he was willing to vote his number one out. So why would you want to take somebody in like that to trust him and it shows that he's not trustworthy.
But
Will
you have to remember
was
that Kent was asking to go home too.
yeah, but everybody was upset with him after they didn't vote him out. Vote Will.
Which I think is
What
bullshit. I don't
when
agree with that.
like Will vote when Boogie was going home, he still voted Krista to leave,
Yeah.
and he knew Boogie was going, and that's the reason why Nicole trusts him after that, because he knows he was a ride or die with the people he was with, and that's why Nicole feels that way. That she can trust him is because he did that against the whole house, and he didn't care, and he stuck to his
Yeah.
guns. And Bunky didn't. It shows that he was weak and would fold on anybody, and that's the way I see it.
I can understand your side of it too. I think that in the situation, what he was thinking was, I just want to vote with the majority alliance, even if it, and I think that Kent asking to go home so much and kind of giving up toward the end, like giving up, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm going home. Here I go. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting out of the house, but away from these people. And I think that hurt him. And Bunky just piggybacked off of that. He wasn't going to try to defend him and keep him to stay when he was already at 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
So I see both sides of it.
Yeah, he was calling everybody a liar to him. They lied to him and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
they pretty much they did.
Yeah.
But that's the game, and like I dislike. That's the one thing I really do dislike about the scene. But it's because it's a older season. That's how
Yeah.
most older season. Like, oh, you're lying. You're lying to me. How can you go back to your house? Your lies, knowing that you lied like that. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a game when you play Mafia. If
Yeah.
you're
I
a
play
mafia
Mafia with
member,
you.
you
Mm-hmm.
play you're a mafia member. You don't say, "Hey, I'm a mafia member." I'm not gonna lie.
No.
It's part of the game, and doesn't. It's not like people are swearing on their children and
No.
lying.
That's
That I can
different.
understand you being a little upset with,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
you're just lying to them. It's just like, come on, bro, it's a game. And Will
Yeah.
flat out said it from the beginning, I'm gonna lie to all you guys. Just a heads up.
And he says in every confessional he can too. He lets
Yeah,
America know that I'm not playing an honest game, and that's my game,
yeah.
and it's gonna work out.
And then we get Kent's interview, and he's talking about how
Mhm.
hard he is running things, and people lied to him, and all this jazz, and it's just
Yeah.
that's pretty much the same thing as
Oh,
been saying all week.
that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's so predictable. It's so predictable.
Yes, I don't think it's predictable. We'll stay. Will. If you sat there and watched this live, you would never
Yes, I
thought.
agree. If you were to watch this live, it's not as predictable. I just
Yeah,
think that Will is so high. I mean, like some
you,
people consider Will still as like the greatest winner ever.
yeah, but like the re at the time, like watching this live. So I didn't know that I knew Doctor Will won.
Right.
The first time I watched it, I was like, I'm not that impressed. I watched it again. I was more impressed. I was really impressed with the BB7 game, which he's way better in for one.
Yes.
But the reason why it's like you look at Will, you thought he was a dead man walking when Shannon left. There's a good chance
Mhm.
that he was gonna go, but he was able to make a deal with Kent to save his butt that week. Because
Yeah.
if he would have went on the block with Boogie that week, Will would have gone. So like him staying alive at this point, 3 rounds later,
Oh yeah, it's
is a little
amazing.
surprising. So
Oh
that's why I
yeah.
don't think it is. We get to HOH competition. It's a we've seen this before. Key shuffleboard, see who can get the farthest without going
Yep.
off. Nicole wins.
Finally.
Finally wins. I don't think she necessarily wanted to win, but she's seen who was about to win is either Krista or Bunky, and she didn't want either one of them to win.
No. So she put it in high gear. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So now I think everyone's done HOH except for Monica and
Will.
Will and Bunky.
Yeah, Bunky. Yeah, Will and Bunky.
Yeah.
Well, Will's played 2 seasons and never won. So, we yeah, Nicole wins, and they talk
Yeah.
about as they're leaving. They talk about how they're surprised that Bunky didn't vote to keep Kent, and Krista called him a punk. Pretty much flat called him a punk as they're like getting out there.
See, I don't think he made the most horrible decision in that moment. I think that he could have made the right decision by voting with the House.
Yeah, I guess so. I am thoroughly enjoying this season. I so much better than AO. I'll tell you that right now.
It's better than AO, but it's still not tickling my fancy 100%.
Do you think it's better than Borneo?
No,
I think it might be better than Borneo.
I like Borneo more.
I wouldn't say Borneo is like I don't know. I think Be Real Charlotte 2 is still like a top 10 season for
It's
me.
also too, to be fair, I haven't watched a Big Brother season since All Stars, and I gave up on All Stars. So I haven't watched a full season of Big Brother since my rewatch of 13 just recently. So like I'm not used to watching so much Big Brother. You know what I mean? Like at a time I've been on a Survivor kick for so long where it's like 15 episodes. So it's easy for me to get through. Whereas like Big Brother, it's like 30 plus episodes. So
Yeah,
just having little hard time getting through it in the
we're
sense of time.
halfway through. But
Can't wait to
we're
watch
getting
Survivor Africa.
we're getting there. I loved watching Will work, and I love the Kent really tried hard, which is very. So I didn't remember how good of a pitch he made
Right.
to stay, and that was very surprising to me on the rewatch. And I was like, oh man, he made a lot of sense, and he made a great pitch. The only thing is Nicole had Will has Nicole's ear, and Will's like, and so like the problem with is that Will is just better than Kent. That's it. This just
Oh
it is.
yeah, 100%. And that's not that we've known that all season.
So,
We've known that all season. So
but we get some good character
it was
moments.
interesting to see the arc of Kent being like walking around in his bathrobe being hot shit to this.
It's like literally the first sense of HOHitis.
Yes, it really is.
Like we see you hear it nowadays, but this is legit the first ever case. Like Boogie, yes, he had a not a great
I
HOH
think
reign.
I think I think that he literally just enjoyed it. Not
Yeah.
really a sense of like felt a power rush from it, but just enjoyed winning
Yeah.
and enjoyed being,
And he thought he
not
had
going
everything
home.
locked up, and it's not
Oh
like he was.
yeah.
I mean, he didn't have like a terrible strategy to the week, and it's not like he was being a dick to people. He was just being Boogie. So Kent legit went from being everyone's favorite to all of a sudden I can't stand him because the way he acted with the cigar in the mouth and the robe, and it's just he went buck wild.
He
His
really
first
did.
HOHitis, and we see that
Where's
many
my
times
beer?
later.
Barf.
So yeah, but that's the episodes. We are definitely gonna get on a more better
Mhm.
schedule now that neither one of us are playing, and I'm holding her to.
Mhm.
I'm gonna smack her hand if she tries to play
Listen,
again
I've
for a
already
minute.
said the only exception is a Harry Potter season, an actual Harry Potter season that actually involves Harry Potter, not just branded Harry Potter, not do anything with it. Not calling anyone out. But yes, that's the only one I'm looking forward to right now. I really wouldn't mind playing another Hunger Games one, but that's just me being picky. So send all the Harry Potter orgs my way.
Don't send anything my way.
Yeah, Frank's being serious about his break. He wants a break.
For the rest of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna focus on fantasy football. So
Same.
I'm gonna
And beat
when
all you
we
guys again.
yeah, whatever. But yeah, this is episode 14 through 16 of Big Brother 2. If you guys like this video, please just give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow our Facebook page, follow our Twitter.
Twiddle.
I put all the links into the bio of the video. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to click and follow to any of them, we really appreciate it. We're really gonna try to buckle down and finish this season and start Africa and get ready to cover Big Brother
Mm-hmm.
23 live. And we're gonna do like a draft and everything. We'll post it all.
Yep.
So we're excited. We should be getting a cast anytime now. So
Yes. We will have another host interview after this season. Me and Frank have already kind of on the hush hush talked about who we want. So we're going to keep it a surprise this time till more than the end. But we hope you guys will enjoy it. It's another big one. So, but yeah, just like, subscribe. We do want to continue doing like polls on our page and different questionnaires and stuff. We're trying to keep it a little bit more streamlined. That way you guys can just go and find the episodes and, vote on the polls, and that's it. So
Yeah.
we're not going to be doing a lot of, cross advertising or posting a bunch of fluff
Mm,
or nothing like that. We're trying to keep it pretty organized. So,
yes.
mhm.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching and listening. We really appreciate it. This is all we got for you guys this time. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.